Hello and welcome, going live in Anxiety Free Life and on YouTube and also on LinkedIn today. My name is Naomi Stockman from My Local Hypnosis, and I'm talking today about the wanderer nerve, also more commonly known as the vagus nerve. Now, this is a really important topic if you are interested in overcoming anxiety, because it is the 10th cranial nerve, the longest nerve that runs through our body, and it is part of our sensory system that picks up information and runs that back to our brain and then tells us when to feel anxious or when to feel calm. Okay, so this nerve, the vagus nerve, and if you're watching on replay, just thanks for watching, and just if you can make a comment so I know that you've been past, that would be awesome. And if you're watching live, please feel free to make a comment. And if I can, I'll include your comments into the live stream. So this vagus nerve connects our brainstem to our body, and it's associated as well with our immune system, with being able to heal and fight infection. So very, very important part of our system. So it's also been nicknamed as the love nerve, because when activated, we become connection seeking, we become more empathetic, we become more caring, more likely to be able to empathize with other people. And when we're in a down-regulated vagal state, we're less likely to be able to connect with people. So the vagus nerve is responsible for that thing we call gut feeling. So if you've ever had a gut feeling, or you're a believer of intuition, the vagus nerve is the part of us that connects the messages from our gut and sends them to our brain. Also picks up signals from our senses, from the environment, and sends them back to our brain so that we know if we're safe, if we've got any threat around us, what we're picking up to be able to respond to. So the brain's always translating the information from the vagus nerve and then responding to that. There are 3 states. There's a thing called polyvagal theory. There are 3 states, and it affects our emotional regulation. Now, if you're into emotional intelligence and emotional regulation and co-regulating and being emotionally aware, then the vagus nerve is a big part of that. So what we want to do is we want to stimulate the vagus nerve and be in ventral vagal. Ventral vagal is the state that we're in when we're socially connected, when we want to be around people, when we're calm, feeling joyful and enjoying life. Now, it's interesting to think that this is all connected to a nerve that starts in our brainstem there. When we go out of ventral vagal, we go into a sympathetic state, and that's when our fight and our flight is we've detected a threat, real or imagined. It doesn't need to be a real threat, and we've got that anxiety, that fear, that fight, that flight, that we're activated. So everything's switched on, our immune system is down regulated, and we're now ready to take action. So the blood actually rushes into our arms and our legs so that we can be stronger and be able to run, and away from our organs and our stomach, etc. And the third state that we get into with this vagus nerve is the dorsal vagal. Now, this is where we shut down completely. So if you can imagine the freeze response, where we dissociate, we disconnect. And this is also the state that people are in when they start getting social anxiety, and they're pulling away, disconnecting and withdrawing. So how can we improve the response and get more connection from our vagus nerve and avoid going into that fight and flight and to that shutdown, that dorsal vagal? So we want to be in ventral vagal, and we want to avoid unnecessarily going into a sympathetic or dorsal vagal response. Now, there are exercises you can do to be able to remain calm and also to recover quickly. Now, this is related to vagal tone. Now, vagal tone can be improved, which is really good news, by doing vagal stimulating exercises, and I'll run through what they are very shortly. So the goal here is for us to be less guarded and to be more relaxed, more at ease. And that's really important. Now, only mammals have a vagus nerve. And so it's interesting, when I was thinking about this and how I was going to present it, I wanted to just bring up if people have pets. Now, if you have a dog, then that dog also has this same system. And from having a pet that they have this sort of restful state where they're calm and they're fun to have around. And then they get this, depending on what type of dog you have. I know my dog will jump up from the couch when he receives some information about a sound out the front or a person coming to the door, and he goes into that the kind of like guarded attack mode where he's barking and he's going off. And then from there, if he was really completely attacked, he would probably end up in a shutdown. So it's just interesting. You can see these responses happening in our pets, and that makes us able to then be more aware that we want to be in that enjoyable state. Like, nobody likes a barking dog. Nobody likes a dog who's growling, who's attacking, or who's completely distressed. So that's the same with human beings. It's not an enjoyable state to be in. It doesn't serve a purpose. We don't, unless we're actually in a direct threat. So here's some ways we can improve our vagal tone by stimulating that vagus nerve. Now, they do, there are devices that you can purchase that claim to stimulate the vagus nerve with different vibrational techniques, etc. However, it's not necessary to purchase anything at all, because we have the ability to be able to stimulate our vagus nerve and improve vagal tone by simply doing things that are natural behaviors for us. So some of the methods that you can use are to do breath work. Now, if you are a person who has anxiety, breath work is really, really good, because it, number one, shifts your focus, but it stimulates the vagus nerve, down regulates your nervous system. So being able to take deep diaphragmatic breaths, and there's a variety of different, box breathing, or there's the different numbered counting, either 4 in for 4, 2 hold for 2, out for 10, or whatever numbers you've practiced. Another thing that is really good for vagal tone is to be connected. Now, this is sometimes against our impulse at the time, but if you have somebody that you are close to, perhaps a family member or a friend, to go in and get some connection. So whether that's sitting together and talking, or having a cuddle, or just seeking that connection. It might not be your natural thing, but if you think about a child who's in distress, that child will improve when they have like somebody there to protect them and give them that connection. So even though as adults we might pull away from connection, it can be beneficial to us to improve and increase connection. There's a thing around cold water. So either you're just simply splashing it on your face, or putting but some people plunge into cold water, or just get a bowl of cold water and splash it on your face. That is a vagal nerve stimulator, and we can hum, just normal humming, just repeatedly. So even in the shower, just humming and humming a song. You can singing out loud, that stimulates the vagus nerve, and gargling. So, when you're brushing your teeth, you put water in your mouth and just gargling. There's a couple of physical things that can also improve vagal tone. So probiotics. So because the vagus nerve is connected to the gut, probiotics and omega-3 fish oils, which you can find in also, if you're vegan, in chia seeds, flax seeds, and other things like that. Meditation and mindfulness, they improve connection with yourself. They are down regulating of the nervous system, and they also improve vagal tone. And yoga, and part of that is also they've that om chanting, om, and there are some, I'll see if I can find a link for actually I know of some recordings where there's some songs which are really helpful for this as well. So I'll see if I can paste one of them underneath in the link underneath in the comments. And the other thing is positive self-talk. Now, I do a thing called enchanting. Enchanting is it's a structured process where you are creating sensory rich statements, but they go in a story that triggers your imagination. So it actually improves mindfulness, connection to yourself. It works as positive affirmation. It works as chanting, and you can sing them or hum them. They're going to improve vagal tone and bring you an improved level of calm into your life. Now, why is vagal tone important? It's not just important for avoiding anxiety or for keeping your system calm. It's also really important in the sense that it aids in fast recovery. So imagine that something happened and you became escalated or elevated, or your stress response went up, you went into sympathetic mode or dorsal vagal shutdown. When you have strong positive vagal tone, you're able to get back to a ventral vagal connection more rapidly. Now, what I find helpful is to, aside from those things I've just gone through, is to create positive anchors. Now, positive anchoring is simply to recognize something that makes you feel safe or has made you feel safe in the past, where you felt in a good state, a joyful state, and then be able to have that as your go-to. So say, for example, you had a particularly wonderful holiday and a particularly wonderful, safe, joyful moment. If you can kind of create an anchor for that. So that can be a physical anchor, or it can be a sound anchor. It can be any kind of anchor. It can be something that you look at to remind you, like maybe a picture that takes you back to that moment and that helps you come back to that ventral vagal state of connection and calm. So by building this anchor up, by practicing this anchor, by revisiting it and strengthening it, it gives you a quicker way to get back into a safe place. Now, if you think about a child having that snuggly teddy bear or that, raggy bunny rabbit that they drag around, that is to them a safety anchor. It can be something physical that you hold on to. Some people carry like a lucky charm, but you can also have it as a part of your body. You can say, check in your body, see like, okay, so I actually feel quite safe in, my arms are my safety. And when I do this, I can create a safety sensation in my body. And anytime I do this, I can anchor that back to that's my safety sensation, bringing myself back to a calm place. Now, another trick that is useful to know is a thing called the salamander. Now, this is working with the eye. There's muscles around the eyes that are connected, and they are related to stimulating the vagus nerve, taking ourselves back to ventral vagal state. So I'll just demonstrate now how to do this. So you can either be laying on your back or you can be sitting up, and you're just placing your hands at the base of your cranium, at the back of your head there, and keeping your head straight. You're just holding a gaze to one side. So I'm just looking now here to the right, and I'm holding that, and you will hold that for 30 seconds. Now, what you're looking for in your body is an involuntary response, like a yawn or a sigh or some kind of thing like that, just some kind of physical response that comes up, and then you can look back to the middle. Now, if that doesn't happen, just hold it for 30 seconds and go back to the middle. You want to do the other side. So a swallow or a sigh or a yawn, and after 30 seconds, just bringing it back. Now, the other thing you can do is you can turn your eyes to the side, and then you can drop your head to the side. So just tilting your eyes and tilting your head, making sure you keep your face up, and so just to the side, and just looking down, and then looking back to the front and bringing your head back up, and then looking to the side and dropping your head the other way. And this, if you can hold that for 30 seconds in each position, this is a great way to tone that vagus nerve and be able to improve your vagal tone. And you can just repeat that on a daily basis to bring yourself into more of a connected space of calm. You can also do these, as I said, laying on your back, or you can do them on all fours. So you'd be doing the same kind of thing, but turning your head and tilting your head around in that same way while being on all fours. So the position either upright, on your back, or on all fours. So obviously it's easier to be sitting up like I am now. And okay, so I'll be releasing a blog article shortly with more information about the vagus nerve and how it relates to anxiety and also depression. That's my dog in the background that I was talking about earlier. And you can read that. I'll get those links pasted in onto our Facebook page, Facebook groups, and underneath in the comments. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to your comments. Talk soon.